scramble! Tigers! Alex Twirl! Alex Twirl has ended up with a ball! Oh no! Unbelievable! One small step for man! One giant leap for Alex Twirl!
It's time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Matrix, and Whisperer.
Yes, welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. It's round 10 for Team List Tuesday, and the show is brought to you by the Standard Squeeze and Ryan from Astute Newstead. And I'm the SC Brain, and as always, the ever trusty SC Whisperer is with me as the Matrix holidays on as he does, mate. How are you going?
Yeah, it's a very tough life being Matrix. He's forever on holiday, and now power to him. I'm good, mate. Good. It's been an interesting TLT. Not a whole lot's happened, but there's been some notable stuff to talk about. But it's definitely a big moving week with buys this week.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few different directions that we can go this week, which is nice. I think we'll start to see some people break away from the pack and a few pod moves and things this week. So looking forward to getting into that. Wayne Mulligan in the chat looking for an insight team.
Are you foreshadowing your trades? You said some pod moves and breaking away from the pack. Are you just foreshadowing what you're doing?
No, one of them maybe. Everyone in the Discord knows what I'm doing, but I'm sure I'll get sprayed today for it. But Wayne Mulligan asking for an insight team list before the live to know who's injured, sick, or taking personal leave. You can just assume that Matrix is taking personal leave once every 3 weeks. So full credit to him. He can get away for a holiday that much, but good luck to him. We'll be here to bring you the good stuff. So drop those questions in, guys. We've already started to star a few of them. Getting quick. The comments get pretty rowdy very quickly. So yeah, get your questions in nice and quick. We'll star them and answer them at the end for you. And of course, subscribe and like. We would appreciate that if you haven't done that yet. And of course, follow us and give us a 5-star review on audio if you want to win some apparel too. So we're giving away a bit of apparel every single week, jumpers, shirts, beanies, and all that kind of stuff. So, and a hat. So if you want to go in the running to win that, drop a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple and send it to us in a screenshot. For anybody who missed Sunday, Josh, how'd things go for you? How'd things finish up?
Updates were kind. They got me over 1,200, which was nice. There's a couple of poor scores from Dallin, and I think I had one more sub-30 score. But apart from that, I mean, I'll take a 1203. Obviously headlined by Angus and Terrell May, and Terrell May is a very contentious one this week, and we'll touch on him. But the little trophy is not next to my name. It's next to yours, having a much better week than me.
I've had a couple of good weeks in a row now, which is nice. But I mean, when you look at our score, it's kind of like in and around that what you would consider par this week anyway. Like I'd say that 1,200 to 1,250 seemed like par from what I saw in most leagues. I think I went up 2,000, 3,000 spots, something like that.
It's been like that. I've had green arrows 3 weeks in a row, but I've gone from 45k to 41. So it's just been like, I've just barely broken par. And we'll get there, but it shows you the rank doesn't mean much. I think, what was it? 4 weeks ago, you were 60k and Matrix was 3k. And now there's probably 50 points between you both. So I still think rank's actually pretty. Oh, it's definitely starting to take shape now, but it's still quite fluctuating. One good score, and you're back there.
That's it. You can bet your ass that I checked how many points behind Matrix I was, and you're right. It's exactly 50. So I'm hunting him down because he's been pretty arrogant so far.
Have you looked? Did you look at me? I'm curious if I'm far off.
No, I didn't.
Or are you just doing bragging rights for your man?
Just bragging rights. I just need to make sure I get one over him. But I'll check it out when we get a bit of downtime in the pod. Shorty, thanks for the donation, mate. $7.99. Appreciate that. Whisperer, which one's better defender, Morgan Harper or your washing basket?
Both do the same job, I reckon. 1-on-1 in an open field situation. They both provide the same cover.
That's good. Good noticing. That funnily enough, everybody can picture Matrix and his backdrop there. He's got a basketball and a few other things, and he always has an empty coat rack. And he copped a lot of flack for that last season because he doesn't have one coat on his coat rack. So he went and bought a jacket to put on the coat rack.
Just
so
for that, yeah.
Commitment for the
you
podcast.
You see people buy sport memorabilia and like posters and stuff for their backdrop, and Matrix just goes and buys a demo coat.
Yeah, that's him. Guys, before we jump into things, if you haven't joined the Unlimited League yet, it's 777-141. That one will close at the end of round 12, so 3 weeks left. So get in very quickly. Win a Supercoach Champions ring for the winner, and of course, get potentially a standard squeeze prize pack for the highest scorer every single week. How's the World Cup going, Josh, for you? You've been going pretty well in AFL since the season started.
Yeah, going okay. AFL, I am ranked fourth. I dropped a little bit. I had a shocking week 2 weeks ago, but bounced back last week. But overall, the World Cup is absolutely flying. We've got well over 60 participants, which is mental for its very first year. There's still time to jump in that one. It's $20 to enter, and that's going to take you a collective rank across AFL, NRL, BBL, and NBL. We are 9 rounds into the AFL, 10 rounds into the NRL, and we said there was about 106 rounds, I think, in total. So we're still very much, in the infancy of it, and things are moving very quickly. But we definitely do have some good rankings to talk about. And there's a couple of guys in there with collective ranks of in the 1.5 to 2%, which is just absurd across both platforms at the moment.
Insane. Jake M is leading at the moment with 1.28% across both sports. So definitely in the top, I think 3 or 4K in both sports. So well done to Jake, leading the way. Now, as we always do, we go through injuries, we talk trades, we do buy, hold, sell, we talk through the team list, captains, vice captains. So let's, without further ado, get into things and talk injuries. Surprisingly, only a couple of HIAs, Josh. Lachlan Croker, Jesse Arthurs.
And obviously 2 big Supercoach relevant names in Lockie Croker and Jesse Arthurs. So it shakes up the landscape massively, but probably the most important one that we'll discuss today, probably second most important, Cam Murray with a hip flexor, did that quite early in the round last week, and he's looking like he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, which is great for Queensland fans, terrible for Rabbitohs fans. It's just their injuries have just piled on. I was reading somewhere on Instagram today, one of the South fans posted that they had 9 of their top 30 injured, and 11 of their top 30 injured, and 9 of them were regular first graders. So it's just absolutely brutal for
and that I heard that one, and that number I think has come back a little bit, because not injury wise, but like in terms of availability, because Latrell's back this week, so that definitely helps them. They've got a couple of names coming back, but that hurts. But is it Saliva Havili season? The answer is no. But
no.
Yeah, that South pack
just kills Tallis Duncan. It kills Tallis Duncan, but it's just worst case scenario, because Saliba Havili's not good enough to be relevant, and it kills Tallis Duncan. So just stay away from, I'd say South in general, but that's a little bit hypocritical of you and I, considering what we're both looking at. But I don't know if I can go there just yet. Obviously, South's injury front, Jai Gray suffered that syndesmosis injury, so he's out for an extended period of time, which sees Trell come back. Annoying for Supercoach, because the talk was that Gray was going to stay at fullback with Trell moving to the centres, which would have given us, Trell centre wing availability over the Origin period, which would have been fantastic. But he slots back to fullback, and then the question becomes, does Trell become a buy, because he's withdrawn himself from fullback, and he probably wasn't getting picked on form anyway. So does he become a guy that we hold over Origin? And we'll touch on him in the buy, holds, and sells. But mate, it doesn't get much better for South, because they've lost their 13-1 and 7. So they've lost 75% of their spine. Dean Hawkins with a quad tear. Jesus Christ.
And kicking the ball for the fucking halftime kickoff as well. Like, I think I was listening to Magic Sponge, as I always do every Monday/Tuesday whenever I get time, and he's saying the first time that he's seen a quad tear that significant off a kickoff in forever, which is bizarre.
I think it just sums up South in general, doesn't it? Like, they're just absolutely shot. And we'll talk on like the ins and outs, but like Dion Tapua comes in, and it's just like, it's now their third string halfback. Ilias out with a leg injury in New South Wales Cup. Hawkins out with a leg injury. There's no centers.
As well, went down in training.
Yeah, Tass with a leg injury as well. Like, you can't even move White into the halves because they've got no outside backs. They've had to loan in Jeremy Sibasaki from North Queensland, and like, he's just come straight on the wing. Gagai was out with an ankle injury. AJ's not on the extended bench, which is, I guess, positive, but it's just like grim. Oh, goodness me. I can see something happening in the...
Here he is. How you going, mate? You well?
Oh, just living my best life.
It looks like it. Did you get sick of the Matrix slander and decide to jump in?
Yeah. I need to come here and defend myself, seriously.
Yeah. Fair enough. How do you want to talk about your week, mate?
Oh yeah, I went lobster pulling this morning, which is not what it sounds like. I turned up
I do that every
thinking
morning.
it was going to be something completely different. You know what I did learn from that?
Go on.
Lobsters have two dicks, males. So when they said lobster pulling, I didn't think it'd be a two-handed job. So
Yeah, there you go. How good's that?
yeah,
Little fun fact.
yeah.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking Supercoach wise this week?
Oh, delete app. Um, no, not going too bad. I actually so I just got back. Who got named at fullback for the Storm?
Fa'alogo.
Nah, that ruined my day. I wanted to bring in Nick Meaney, so I will bring in maybe a Dom Young or someone.
Yeah,
and I'm going to bring in Jeremy Marshall King.
Oh, okay.
Spicy.
I like it.
Spicy.
There's been a lot of requests for you to do a standard squeeze skull while you're on the pod. I assume you didn't take your stuff with you though, right?
No, it didn't fit in my bag, but I got a beer. I just finished it actually.
That looks empty. Yeah.
I'm just about to walk to the pub, so
Poor form.
I'm walking to the pub now. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
No,
Very
just wanted to pop in and say goodbye. I'll let you do your show. But yeah, this
Thanks,
slander
Matrix.
needs to stop. I'll be listening.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, well.
See ya. What a man. Always good to get a little cameo from the Matrix after about 35 beers. Where were we? Talking injuries, weren't we?
Yeah, talking injuries. Talking halfbacks being out, which probably takes us to Adam Reynolds with that bicep rupture, where it seemed like every commentator wanted to just rule him out from the season straight away. And we love NRL physio, but he is a very petty man sometimes. And he was just like, what's going on? Like, he's just everyone needs to chill. Like, he's not out for the season. And then obviously, it was confirmed that he's not. He'll be back very late in the season, pushing finals if the Broncos make it. So, yeah. Good for Reece Walsh owners, good for Ezra Mam owners, but Broncos stocks are at a significant low. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how Ezra Mam goes. Not that I'm looking at him as a trade target at all, but it'll be interesting to see whether he steps up as the guy in the team while Reynolds is out. So, but yeah, you're right. Reece Walsh definitely gains in stock. I guess he's probably going to become that first receiver more often than not. He might even do a fair bit of kicking, I think. I was looking at kick meters because I was curious if Ezra Mam was like a buy in fantasy. Obviously, not a fantasy podcast, but you and I are avid players. And like Reece Walsh actually, when Reynolds was out last time, Reece Walsh took the majority of the kicking. It was split 50-50, but Walsh was kicking more than Mam. And then obviously, we have Josh Rogers. So it's just like, who the fuck's Josh Rogers? And I'm not sure what we can do with him in a fantasy sense. Obviously, nothing in the Supercoach, but yeah, curious on who steps up for the mighty Broncos. Yeah, definitely. Brandon Smith had a calf complaint, but it looks like he's all good. Pappenhausen, the big kind of, I guess, talking point, isn't it? The fibula fracture. Looks like he will be back. I think he's hopeful he'll be back around 15, but it's looking like more closer to 16, 17 for Ryan Pappenhausen, which is, I guess, like we said on Sunday, best case result when you see something like that for Pappy. So yeah, good to see. It could also be around 18, 19, around 20. Like if the Storm are flying and Fa'alongo's going great, like the Storm have no incentive to rush Pappenhausen back. We saw it last year. He played a bit of Q Cup and there's like no incentive to rush him back. If he's back at like around 19, around 20 for first grade, it gives him a good, 5 or 6 weeks to get prepped for finals footy. So yeah, I mean, round 15 at the earliest, I'd be very shocked if it is, before game 3 of Origin. So if you have him, he's an automatic sell, and we'll touch on that. As is probably Jerome Hughes with that calf complaint. We touched on this on Sunday. We said that he sort of played through this because they had no one to come on. They had plenty of injuries in the the team, so Hughes stayed on. But the damage was probably done. I think he was probably given the tap on the shoulder from the trainer saying, "Look, you can't make it any worse." So he played on, and he's out for 2 to 3 weeks with Cleary back. But he's about to go to Origin with SJ. Very questionable with his sort of injury management. It's like, what do we do at halfback? Cherry Evans is about to play Origin as well. So halfback is getting quite spicy. Obviously, we're all got Hines. And if you don't, reevaluate and get Hines. But yeah, it's getting very, very spicy. I guess from Supercoach standpoint, Suafa'alongo had that knee complaint, but looks like he's been named. So He's still he's not on the bubble. I know a lot of people are going out of their way to buy him. I just chill. He's played one game for a 41, and that was with a line break try. So let's just pump the brakes a bit. He's a stud, and he will be at fullback, but he's only played one game, so we can probably just let that one go through for this week.
And I think also with Meaney being very capable of playing at the back, and also Farlogo's kind of injury niggle issue that's already been mentioned. He didn't even finish the game last week. He went back on for, I think, 10 minutes in the second half and then came straight back off. So, definitely do not go early on Farlogo, as good as he is. But, you can cash in next week if everything looks all good. Tanner Boyd with that dislocated wrist, it looks like he's going to miss a fair bit of time with that. Unfortunately, depending on surgery, it could be anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. So if he doesn't go the surgical route, I think we're looking at a bit over a month that he's going to be out. But if he has surgery, you're looking at 3 months. So not that that's really Supercoach relevant too much, I guess, but there's a few moving parts in the Titans, and there's a few questions about one Alexander James Brimson that I think will be quite relevant moving forward with the conversation around Boyd and Jaden Campbell's return soon too. A few quick ones. Capewell did a calf, not really Supercoach relevant either. Tessie New, no one owns him. He did an ankle, but Tessie New out means that we see Herbie Farnworth come back in, Josh. And it's been said that he will be on the left, not the right, which impacts a certain right winger from the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you can take numbers, how players are named with a grain of salt, like whether they're wearing 3, 4, 2, or 5. You can probably take that with a grain of salt. I remember I saw Brian Toto last year go from 2 to 5 to 2 within 3 weeks and stayed the same side of the field. So, not really sure the psychology behind that. But, I mean, you made mention in our group chat today that, Averillo's been playing really well on the right. And Tessie's obviously a left center, so you'd expect like for like. And obviously Herbie was a left center last year, and all the talk in the preseason was to line up him and Asako on that right hand side. But I don't see why they wouldn't just put Herbie at the left. It kills Bostock, and that's probably a great week to jump off with his sky high break even. But it's definitely interesting. I've got no interest, but probably just solidifies Asako as like a fine hold now because he doesn't have Herbie inside him.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Moving very quickly to Asako, this wasn't mentioned anywhere except Physio's keen eye for injury. So notice that Jermaine Asako was having a little bit of trouble with his wrist. So I think there was one play where he went down and landed on his hand and got up kind of shaking his wrist and looked like he was hampering a little bit with that. And then he scored his third try and also did the same thing when he got up. So it looks like he might be managing an ongoing kind of wrist injury there, Jermaine Asako, and it was pretty heavily iced after the game in the sheds in the post-match stuff that we saw as well. So you might anything that's going to stop him playing.
No, you might just lose 5 or 6 points in base. Probably just has a slightly less hit up work rate. If Bennett just says, look, just chill. Like, we need you to score tries and finish and goal kick. Like, don't kill yourself coming out of your own end. So hopefully that leaves more work rate for your boy Trey Fuller. So
yes, he's he doesn't feature too much in this podcast because I think I talked about him enough last week. So, but Asako probably a good play and will be a popular. We've got a few questions already coming through for him. Lastly, Clint Gutherson, he'll be still out for 4 or 5 weeks. We saw Blaze Talangi named at fullback. We'll talk about him a little bit later because he's still, I guess, pretty relevant. But that'll do for the injuries. Hey, let's move into the weekly preview. And as always, we kick off the weekly preview with our buy, hold, sell, watch segment. And we always start with the buy, so let's do that.
Target acquired.
Some people went early in this podcast, and it wasn't me.
No, it was me. Obviously, yeah. Well, he was the bad score. I was talking about what Teddy let me down. It was also David Armstrong. 204K minus 47 break even. Poor score last week. We actually spoke about this 2 weeks ago. We said that his work rate wasn't fantastic, just based off New South Wales Cup numbers and all that. But obviously does have attacking upside. He's probably not a play. You could play him on good matchups, but not someone I'd be prioritizing as a play. But still, minus 47 break even. Good job security. There's no reason for you not to buy him. I wouldn't be put off by the poor score last week. The only downside is his best score will come out of his rolling average first. So keep that in mind. The break even next week might not be as astronomical as a Schiller or a Trey Fuller from last week, but still think he's a solid play. And they got a good one on their hands in David Armstrong. I saw some highlights of Lockie Miller actually carving up in Super League over the weekend, and brought me back that time of life when we had Lockie Miller for 5 weeks.
Because you started with Lockie Miller, didn't you, in most formats last year?
Yeah, worked well. Worked well, and then obviously dropped for KP when he moved back to fullback. But yeah, I was just like, oh, they've had a couple of fullbacks come through. I remember when KP played 6 back in 2020, I think they experimented that for a bit there as well, and it's just like it's never worked. So it's just funny. Talking about ex fullbacks, Ruben Garrick, 689k minus 36 break even, mate. You're an owner. You bought him at about 600. 689 still a pretty good discount to get on a season-long keeper.
Oh, absolutely. I think, people have watched maybe for 2 weeks and have gone, I'm not 100% sure. A lot of people didn't jump on naturally when he had the 145 break even, as you wouldn't. Only a madman to do that. But he did score again this week, and he did look good. So yeah, I think the one, I guess this is probably the last week to get Ruben Garrick with the matchup coming up, because then they've got a couple of real tough ones leading into that Origin period as well. So this week or never, I think, at least for the short term. But yeah, minus 36 break even. If he comes out and he puts a score on the Dolphins this week, which is every chance of happening, he could be honestly near 800k next week. So
I think people that are fading are hoping for a 50-point game. Like he's still going to make a bulk ton of cash, but you want that 50 in that rolling average for when those tough matchups do come in, and hopefully we can pick him up over the Origin period at a cheaper price. Talking about former Supercoach glory, Dom Young, 549k. We touched on him on Sunday, said that we were eyeing him off, and no surprise, he's made it his way into the buy list with a -4 break even. We saw how destructive he can be. He is rocks or diamonds. He's Alex Johnson, he's Jason Saab. He's one of these guys that's very up and down, but I think, much more potent Roosters attack this year. They're using him a lot. And at a -4 break even, you've got guys like Bostock, Schiller, Strange, all these guys that have topped out that seem like a no-brainer straight swap to Tom Young.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. We've got a lot of questions in the Discord from the Unlimited members asking, should I get Dom Young or Ruben Garrick, or, insert premium center wing option, because there's a few that are kind of bottoming out now. And my pick probably every single time is Dom Young, just at the price. I think we're comparing a guy that's 550k to a lot of these options like your Manus, your Azarkos that are 750, 800k. So that 200k becomes valuable.
Yeah, he's not the best option in terms of pure point scoring, but for what you're getting, dollar per point, price at a 40 at a 54 compared to a Garrick, it's at nearly a 70, and a Manu at a very similar price as well. Obviously, if you got the money, go Garrick, but really liking Dom Young. It's probably the last week to jump on Angus Crichton, his Roosters teammate, 712k. He started the season at about 430 and bottomed out at about 380. And as I posted yesterday in my team of the season, he's made his way into the team of the season based off averages, which is incredible considering he's got a 38 and a 19 in his system. He's averaging something like 75. With a -52 break even this week, mate, if he goes again at, say, 100, he's eyeing down the barrel of 840, and at that stage it's just too late to buy him. So this is the last week to jump on Gus if you don't have him. I
think so. And look, I've had a few questions again about Gus, and is it too late? For the most part, I think there's more value for money when we're looking at what people are trying to manipulate trades, and some people are boosting, and some people have to I guess make a few sacrifices now to get Gus Crichton into their team. And is that worth it? So we're looking more in the territory of those 500 to 650 guys. But yeah, you're right. It's the last week to get on Gus. And he is a season-long keeper, regardless of whether he plays Origin or not. I don't think whether he plays Origin or not really matters when you're picking up a guy of his quality. I think he's just a lock and load every single week. So, and the last buy on the list, mate, is Scotty Drinkwater. Now, it's not often that we throw a guy with a 93 break even into the buy list, but he does play the Gold Coast Titans this week. And that could be huge. I'm predicting he probably covers his break even in this one. Spoiler alert, we talk captains at the end of an episode, but I think he's definitely a prime candidate for the C this week as well, along with another very obvious option. But the last time that Drinky played the Gold Coast, which was only 4 weeks ago, he scored 144. So if we're going on recent form, it's there for Drinky.
Yeah, I got burnt personally buying fullbacks at sky high break evens. So I'm going to let this one go through, but I'm definitely looking at him. And there's a bit of love in the chat here for your boy. One Alexander Brimson. Now he's going to break even at 10, 681k. Available at centre wing, available at fullback, very similar to Ruben Garrick. Is there any reason why I guess he hasn't featured today? Because the draw, it's pretty handy. You got the Cowboys, the Knights, the Broncos, Souths. Broncos by Souths. Then plays a really nice sort of middle period. Warriors, Sharks, Warriors by Sharks, Para, Manly, Dolphins. He does miss 2 of the 3 major buys. Is that the only reason why we're not sort of slam dunk jumping on AJ?
Look, I just there's so many moving parts with this Titans lineup as well. Like with Tanner Boyd out, I was fully expecting him to come in at 5'8", but our man Chris Randall.
Don't expect Chris Randall to be the 5'8" safety. So my big concern, and probably yours as well, is that JC comes back, AJ to 6, and Brimo, or AJ at 6 and JC at fullback. I don't expect Chris Randall as a long-term savior.
Fucking way. Not a chance. Chris Randall will drop back to the bench, I would assume, or just go to hooker and then Verrills drops back to the bench. But
because Keen's been named at 14, so it's a very interesting shout there.
That's what I reckon. There's a little bit of ducks and drakes going on from Des here. I reckon there's every chance Keeney plays fullback in this one, Brimson to 6, and then Randall to the bench into the 14. Let's see how that plays out. But yeah, that's probably my hesitancy, I guess, around AJ Brimson. And I love him as a play, but we're starting to creep up to that kind of top end price point as well. And yeah, at 6, maybe not as interested as him at fullback.
Also doesn't have like some monster ceiling. I mean, 2021, his highest score was 93. 2022, his highest score was 139, which is great. 2023, his high score was 94. 2024, his high score was 94. So he doesn't have like some monster output. Oh, sorry, I think he might have scored 100 on the weekend. The SC stats page hasn't updated yet. Yeah, he's got 104. But he doesn't have like some monster ceiling. Like, yeah, he's overall very consistent. We're seeing 80, 64, 56, 67, and then 94 and 104. That 104 was against Melbourne, which is a really outlier sort of weird score.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Melbourne, beat Penrith 8-0, and we've seen them also beat the Warriors 30-28 or whatever it was. So like some little bit of inconsistencies, and that Melbourne side was very depleted. And then the Warriors score, we know they concede bulk points to spine players. So it's like I'm pegging him at sort of a 65-ish average, and I'm not sure I want to be paying 681 for that. So that's just my 2 cents on why we haven't included Brimo in the buys.
And look, we could sit here and we could name 10 buys, but you guys only have 2 to 3 trades every week. So we try to keep this list to 5 players or 5 players or less for each section. That's probably why he didn't make the list. There's some good options this week. So speaking of that, let's move on to the players you should hold. Now, first one on the list is Morgan Smithies, 489k, 55 break even. I think obviously this is team dependent on your holds for the most part, nearly every single week. But there is no real reason for you to move on Morgan Smithies unless it's to get a serious upgrade. He hasn't done poorly. He's actually been okay for the most part. He could comfortably be a 2RF5 this season that you can play every now and again when you get caught a little bit short.
Yeah, and like as we discussed on Sunday, like what upgrades are there? Eli Katoa is now without Jerome Hughes, and every other good 2RF is probably going to go play Origin. So it's like there's really no amazing 2RF premium upgrades unless you're like happy to buy Fafita or Crichton, like knowing full well that they're going to be missing probably 6 of the next 9 weeks. It's just like, apart from that, there's no huge major upgrades at 2RF that I'm loving. So Morgan Smithies, yeah, absolutely fine hold. 55 break even, probably won't cover it, but he'll score 49 to 52 and you will lose no money. For me, that's fine. As is RTS. Like my RTS flag is firmly planted in the ground. People are acting like he is just arse, and I don't really get it. Like he is fine. Like he has been a disappointment. Don't get me wrong, but he has not been a trap. He hasn't been like dreadful. We haven't lost money on him. Like he is not Justin Olam. Like people are acting like he is Justin Olam when it comes to Supercoach. Like he's scoring your 25s. Like he is ultra consistent. Warriors fans are screaming out for him to be on the wing, and I don't think it's long until Marcelo Montoya spends a bit of time in Reggie's. And then obviously Aui Leotawa would come into the centers, and then RTS would move to the wing. Like, he's my current center wing 4, center wing 5, and that's fine. Like, he's got a 57 break even, same as Smithies. He'll score 42. He'll score 52 to 55. If he gets an attacking stat, amazing. But it's like, I'm just holding.
A couple of good comments here. RTS is just the middle child. He's done nothing great or bad.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a really good way to look at it.
That's fine. And right now, when everyone's team's falling apart, you've got Pappenhausen being injured, and you've just got like players going to Origin. You've got no good halfbacks. Cleary has got hamstrings made of cheese. Like, all the other halfbacks are playing Origin. It's like, I just need something reliable. And RTS is that guy. Like, he is the guy. He is that X that you always hang on to, because you know at 11:30 you can just text them, "Hey, you up?" Eggplant emoji, and it's just like all good. That avoid in your life is filled. So RTS for me is my 11 p.m. booty call. Happy Coruscant, 551k, 97 break even. This isn't a product of him being amazing. It's just a product of Hooker, and it's like, who are we buying? Like, there's no confidence. I don't have confidence in buying Robson. I don't have confidence in buying Grant. Like, Jeremy Marshall King is probably it, and also he's quite expensive.
Oh, for sure. I don't think I'm buying Grant, especially just based on what we've seen. Leading up to this point, he definitely hasn't hit the heights that we would have expected of Harry Grant this season. Jeremy Marshall King's been solid. Reece Robson's probably been the pick of the hookers this year for the most part. But if for the most part, we're running like a Harry Grant and Joey Lussick combo, or we're running a Harry Grant / Robson / JMK and a bench hooker. For me, anybody who has Harry Grant, nobody else really becomes an option. I don't think it's smart to trade him out, and I don't think it's smart to play 2 premium hookers. That's pretty much my opinion on hooker. Obviously, people moved to Jaden Brayley last week, who would be relatively upset seeing Brendan Hands not on the bench and Bryce Cartwright back, and Lussick looking at 80 minutes again. So that was always the risk, I guess, with that move. But yeah, if you got Appy, he's had a lean period, but he's not going to continue to score fucking 30 to 40 every week.
Putting PTSD bias aside, like 640k for Reed Marnie also feels kind of gross. Like, going from Appy to Marnie feels a bit like it feels a bit like paying 600 plus K for Jermaine Jolliffe last week. It's like, sure, it's probably fine, but it's just a bit shit, and you feel a bit gross, and you have to like take 3 showers after you hit confirmed trade. I mean, Reed's been okay. His floor has been raised compared to last year. He's only had 2 scores under 50, whereas last year it was like 2 scores over 50, and that's what sucked us in. But he's been solid. He's averaging 65.5, but it's just like, no,
I'm not spending trades at hooker. End of story. I just think it's such a waste of a trade spending trades at hooker in such a shit position.
Trust me, I know. I brought up Connor Watson at 300k, and you hated that. So I'm sure you'd love Reed Money at 640.
Yeah. I would really enjoy that. I'd like to go back in time about 4 weeks and jump on Connor Watson, but you can't get them all right, can you? And again, like the last hold on the list is Joey Lussick. I don't think 61 break even, 451k. He'll probably score 40 to 45 at worst case. There's no need now with Brendan Hands not on the bench with Bryce Cartwright back. We kind of were hoping this would happen last week, and now it has, which is great. I don't think you need to move him on now.
Not everyone has to be upgraded. Like, these guys that top out in price but don't really lose money probably aren't massive trade targets. Joey Lussick, Sam Hughes is another one. Probably, I know that we've got him mentioned here. I don't particularly agree. Someone like a Joe Chan as well. Mm-hmm. Like, these guys that will just score you what they're priced at. It's like you can rely on that. It's not like a James Schiller and Ethan Strange where they can have a score of 90 one week and a score of 10 the next, where it's like, okay, we need to cash out before we lose bulk money. Like, I posted this on X today. Like, someone like Sam Hughes and Joey Lussick, they're guys that just do what it says on the tin. And you sometimes don't need to upgrade them because you don't want to run into the trap of, going 2 up, 1 down. So you don't want to be going, 1 up, 2 down. You don't want to be going 2 mid-price guys to a premium and a shit rookie, and then that shit rookie becomes an AE liability. Like, I understand that Lussick and like Hughes and all these guys have money on their heads, but in weeks where we have buys and major and mini buys and teams are missing 4 or 5 or 6 or 3 teams are missing in that week, like, they're guys that you can just play because you know what they're going to do for you. And it's like, do you want them or do you want, maybe 10 points extra upgrading them to a somewhat premium?
Yeah, spot on. Hit the nail on the head. All right, let's move on to the sells. Ryan Pappenhausen, we don't really need to talk about, do we? We, use the cash, move him on 4 to 6 weeks. I would say we're probably looking at 6 to 8 weeks, just based on injury history. But unfortunately, he prayed. We hope he's back very soon.
Doesn't have to be this week. If you're looking at Drinkwater, but you're just like not happy with the break even, doesn't have to be this week, but definitely next week, like when someone bottoms out, picking them up. Jack Bostock, 594K, far out. I really wish I had a time machine and went back and picked up Bostock. Next year, I said this every year, I'm not going to let trials impact my decisions, because we saw him put up 50 and 50 with 2 tries in the trials, and we're like, basis shit. And we saw this with Peter Corey, didn't we? Like 2 tries and went really well, and people jumped on. It's like, I'm not going to let trials impact my decisions on play. We should be looking at trials for roles, not production. And yeah, Bostock was one that I wish I jumped on, because owners have made nearly 300K, which is just absurd. But outside of Herbie now, looking at jumping off him regardless. As with the Canberra Raiders boys, Schiller and Strange, we were talking about them last week. People were like, don't jump off. You could have jumped off last week, but I think this week's the time to do it.
Get that garbage out of here!
Yep.
Absolutely.
Time to move on, unfortunately. And also I'm going to play it twice.
I was going to say, you got to keep playing this with the next man.
Tamari Martin, get the fuck out of my team. 419K, 55 break even. I jumped on Tamari Martin, and you know what? The best part was I boosted for him. And he has provided me a 29, a 50, and a 28 or something like that, which has just been dog shit. And his price has topped. Shorty in the chat. I'm sure Shorty's he's with me on this one. We both got sucked in. But yeah, Tamari Martin hasn't really kind of hit anywhere near the heights we would like from him. Definitely a move on with where his break even is. You said we don't agree on this one, Joe Chan. I think I know that we're looking at obviously a guy at 320K, so there's not really much cash there to actually move around and use for a viable trade. But at 45 break even, we saw last week there's a potential AE nightmare there. So for me, I'm trying to minimize the amount of people that are really going to fuck my VC loophole. But sell me on why I should keep him.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of like. It was just unlucky with injuries. I mean, like, look at these PPM when he's come off the bench. It's 1.6, 1.4, and then all of a sudden 0.4. Like, that's not a bad game. That's just a role change where he had to cover in the backs. Like, you're going to lose cash for the next 2 weeks. It's going to suck, but like, there's not much cash in his head. There's 84K, which is like the upgrade of what we started with. And like, I think over this origin period when people are going to get banged up and bruised and whatnot, then like he could find a role. I mean, he's also one injury away from playing 80 minutes, like Eli Katoa and Sean Bloor. And if he's going back and playing 35 minutes off the bench and scoring me at 1.6, amazing. If he was like 420K, then yeah, I get around it. But it's like, to who? Like, who are we selling to at 323K? Yeah. It's like, why?
I think, look, if you've got a ton of cash in your bank from the fuller trade or whatever, and you're flush with cash like Matrix usually is every week, then maybe you can upgrade to a Nickera or something like that.
Dom, I was gonna say someone like a Dom Young, if you have the jewels, probably like the bottom. Yep. Where I'm not treating him to a 400K guy. It's just like, what's the point? But no, I feel like there's a bounce back for Chan. His PPM is great off the bench. Like I said, 1.3 and 1.6. He scored 42 points in 26 minutes and 39 points in 28 minutes. And then played 40 on the weekend and scored 15 where he was stuck out at center. So not the end of the world for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, definitely not a priority trade out. But look, if you've got no other fires to put out and no other upgrades to make, then you might want to minimize that VC loophole issue.
Covers 14 and 18, which are the bye weeks where you've got to play a full squad and there's like 3 teams on the bye. So like Joe Chan scoring to 40 points is your 17th man in those shit weeks. It's not the end of the world either.
Yeah. Is it 18? There's only one team on the bye. I think it's 17 with 3. It's the one after.
Sorry. So what is it? 13, 16, 19.
Yeah. So 14 and 17 and 20.
He covers 14, 17 and 20. So he covers all 3.
Okay.
So not the end of the world.
And there's no one really putting their hand up to go, yeah, you should downgrade me. There's no bottom dollar 2RF coming through anyway.
No.
All right, let's move on to the watch list.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
It's actually my new favorite stinger.
Every time.
Silfar Logo, where we spoke about him a little bit earlier on, he is definitely a watch just due to the fact that, one, he is not bottom dollar. He's 339K. You know, if he was bottom dollar, we'd be having a different conversation on going early to free up cash and all that kind of shit. But you're not paying bottom dollar. You're paying 140K above bottom dollar to bank on a guy before he's even going to make you cash with an injury that he didn't finish a game with last week. So it doesn't make sense to go early.
He's more expensive than Joe Chan. That's funny to look at it, and everyone's thinking like he's not a slam dunk buy. Like I think he's a stud. But he's by no means some kind of slam dunk buy. Had the try on the weekend, so with a line break off the scrum there, so that was impressive. But he scored 41, as we said, didn't play the full game out. Does have some kind of obviously a knee concern, and only played 52 minutes. So let's just chill. It's not. It's also not like some world class matchup either. Like the Sharks have been pretty good defensively this year, so let's just chill.
Yeah, agreed. KO Weeks, also chill. He's on the bye. We've seen this go horribly wrong in past seasons. Not so much this year so far, but we've seen it go wrong in past seasons where you go early on a player that's on a bye or whatever, and they end up getting a training injury. AKA Jacob Carraz did it to me last year. I bought him on the bye to free up a bit of cash and go early, so I had plans booked for a fortnight. This is why you don't book your plans, kids. Because, they go and get injured at training like half of the Bulldogs squad did last year. And then I had traded him out without him even taking a step on the field. So that was fun. Any reason not to get KO Weeks?
No, so I'm just laughing because I remember the week in question. Like people were just, you weren't the only one. It sucks. No reason to go on KO Weeks now. Greg Marzu, 501K, 67 break even. Fuck, I'm praying for a week where no Marzu try, because even if he gets 50, it's still a purchase at 490K, which just feels like amazing value for Marzu. So he's a guy that I'm definitely watching. Hey, even if he scores, like I'm not against a Greg Marzu 80-point performance, because 80 points is 50 points in BP with a try. So he's got a really nice break even at 67. He's not going to hurt you if he goes big. Obviously it's only benefit if he goes small as well. So he's a guy I'm definitely looking at in Greg Marzu.
Just need to see a little bit more. That's all. Just a little bit of attacking flair from him, a little bit of what we saw last year. If we can see that and the base goes up, I'm very, very tempted.
Just quickly, this is your final warning, Jason. We will not be discussing the Tigers number 7. He's banned on this podcast, especially with Braino and I hosting. So this is your last warning about bringing up the Tigers 7. Jason
stitched us up big time there because he probably heard last week the big rant about Bud Sullivan. So we won't be mentioning him. But he's the Dean Mariner of this episode.
Isn't it funny that Tigers got slammed in the media for buying too many halves, and now
we got none. Yeah, rough. Matty Sherwood's asking in the chat, "Where's Yam on the holds?" Because he's here every week. The Yam. We're still holding the Yam, I'm assuming.
Is it crazy to look at him as a purchase?
I mean, he's bottomed out. Plays 13.
It's just like, as much as like we laughed that he got 70 last week. It's like he needed a line break assist, a try, and a line break,
and the team to not be looking when he scored his try. So there was no defensive
defense. It's Dylan Edwards and Taylor May versus Jai Arrow, and it's like that's the only way that you get an attacking returns. No, look, he's 419K, break even of 15 this week. He has lost 39K on the season. We should be making that back this week, which is nice. And that's the reason why we were so staunch on the hold, because we're like, all it takes for these center wings is one good score, and they're back to where they were, and then you can jump off. You can cut your losses then. You can be that gambler at the pub when you lost $1,000 and you finally break even. It feels like a win. You've got your money back and just get out of there then. But 15 break even against the Dogs this week. Not a great matchup against Stephen Crichton. Probably the toughest assignment you can have as a center. But 15 break even, it's fine. Probably borderline not playable, but still a fine hold.
Agreed. And that brings us to the end of buy, hold, and sell. And now we need to move into the squeeze of the week. Of course, brought to you by the Standard Squeeze, helping you drink responsibly, helping you drink conveniently. They've got their 4-in-1s that keep your coffees nice and warm and your beers nice and cold. They've got their combo packs that help you pour the perfect pour every single time. Just in case you need to drive and you want to know how much you've drank, you can go to their website, thestandardsqueeze.com, use the code IFS15, and you can get yourself 15% off everything in store thanks to the Standard Squeeze. And the squeeze of the week wins themselves a combo pack or a 4-in-1, their choice, for the top scorer in the Unlimited League. And for round 9. That was Chris. And how about his team name? His team name is Ball Brain, and my team name is Brain Ball. So there's maybe this is a sign that I'm coming into some big points next week. You just don't know. But he scored 1,501. So very well done to Chris. Huge score. Flick us an email, mate. It's contact@insightfantasysports.com.au. Send us your team and your name and address and whether you want a 4-in-1 or a combo pack, and we'll get that one out to you. Congratulations. No change, though, Josh, in the leaderboard overall, though. We've still got Quentin, still pushing on hard, coach of the Dead Hand Gang. He's 3rd overall. Adrian, 5th overall. And we've got Mustafa, who's broken into the top 10 here in 8th overall. So we've got them all in the Insight League. So congratulations to those boys as well. Well done. Let's move into these games. Raiders are on the bye, so we've kind of mentioned that a few times before, but a very popular segment from last, when was it? Last Tuesday. It's back.
And now here's Ollie Williams with the weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain.
Thanks, Ollie.
Not so much rain this weekend, but there will be rain again. Thursday in Brisbane, not so bad. So we've got a little bit of a dry one on Thursday, 0 to 2 mil in Brisbane. I assume that's going to be okay. But Friday, we've got up to 30 mils in Penrith and very much the same in Parramatta at Combank. So Friday night games could be a little bit tricky for those outside backs. Saturday, we've got 10 mils in Tamworth, up to 35 mils in Cogra for the St. George game. And Melbourne versus Sharks could be dry, which is very promising when we'll talk about them very soon. And then Sunday, it's going to be up to 20 mils in Sydney and up to 10 mils on the Gold Coast. So look, we are obviously a few days out, Josh. So we can't really jump too far ahead on weather per se, but it definitely does make an impact potentially on the way that you, or your trades this week and the way that you look at these games.
Yeah, definitely. Any more Bolter bets on the weather this week, mate, or have people learned their lesson?
Look, I don't know. To be fair to Matty in the chat, he hopped in my DMs and he's like, "Hey, how do I pay this thing?" So he paid up. So good on him.
But I'm the kind of bloke that makes all these Bolter bets, and when I win, I just don't do it. I just don't care. Like I'll just do it for the ego boost. But like if I lose, people expect me to pay ASAP. So maybe I do need to start being more ruthless with my payouts. But yes, obviously, let's move into the previews. Thursday, 7:50 p.m. The Dolphins versus Manly at Suncorp. Testing you obviously out, being replaced by Herbie Farnsworth. Kenny Bromwich back from his concussion and to the bench. For Manly, all you Burbo truthers, he is back. Ethan Bullymore to the bench. Nathan Brown out with that hip injury. Carl Lawton starts for Croker with the cum. It's cum time. Gordon Chen Kum Tong on the bench at 14. Amazing stuff for them. I can see we've got some players at the bottom here. What are they?
I just want to talk about him. And you know what? I want to quickly talk about the fact that thank fuck Fuller was named, because I was very nervous at 3:59 today. Yeah. I don't know. There was just something telling me, because they've just got guys that can play fullback. Like Cody Nicarima will just fucking pop up and play fullback. You know, Wayne will let him do that.
I think you're just scared of nothing. I think you got monsters under the bed.
Hey, I believe in monsters under the bed. Don't you worry. But yeah, no, good for Fuller. He'll make some more cash, and I'll probably jump off next week or whenever Hammer's back. I'll probably jump off. Jermaine Asako, though, he was a big talking point, and we've got some questions and I guess comments coming through tonight about Jermaine Asako. What are your thoughts on him? We didn't have him in the must buy list. Do you like him though as a play?
Oh, he's fine. He's a lot of money. And I don't think anyone at that price is like a slam dunk buy, unless your name's Nico Hines. Like no one at that price is like, no back is like there. Especially against the Broncos, who are okay defensively, haven't been as good this year. But yeah, obviously it's Jermaine Asako. He's done it for 2 years now. He's great. Let's touch on Max Plath, 2RF 5'8". He's great. I keep seeing people on Twitter like trying to outthink 5'8". They're like, oh, well, 5'8" sucks. Why don't we just pick one of the shit ones? Why don't we just pick a 5'8" that's not a 5'8"? Why don't we just pick...
There's a good argument to just play a guy that's going to get you like kind of lock base, you know, like 50, 55 on a bad week. He's shown the workload. He makes fucking a million tackles in the middle of the field every single week. So if you're going to get that grindy back and forth game that the Dolphins play every now and again, I think he's going to score well. He's got an attacking stat in him as well, which is positive. And 5'8" fucking sucks. Simple as that. It sucks. You know, you've got Dylan Brown, Munster. Dearden's okay, I guess. Like, you've got such a small amount of options there at that position. So why fuck around with players that have a kind of mediocre ceiling and also a very, very low floor when you can just lock and load to 50 every week in Plath? Like, I like it. I don't think he's out of reach either.
Plath's minutes were a little bit shitty at the start of the season. 43 minutes, 54 minutes, 46 minutes. But since then, he's gone 70, 68, and 80. He's gone 94, 72, 52. That's a collective average of about 65, if I can do my quick math. If we're talking about the overall, like, 5/8 1 this season, based off, like, minimums games per played, Matt Burton's the top 5/8 at the moment with an average of 68. And Plath was putting up, like, 63, 64 in the last 3 weeks with, like, okay minutes. I don't think why we need to, like, run out of our way to buy Matt Burton at 770k when someone like Max Plath at 15k isn't a bad option either.
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't think there's really much more to add on him, but I think you can still get on, really. There's just better buys this week, aside from Plath. But yeah, if 5/8's a problem, I'm not sure I can solve it, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you something that might make you watch Rabbitohs games a bit later. What about Turbo though, Josh? He's got pretty much one more week before we jump off. I'm assuming for those that have held through this period, their Manly draw just gets fucking pretty ridiculous from round 11.
I am fucking terrified of this game as a non-Turbo owner. I'm so scared. But yeah, Turbo, he's got a pretty big break even. I just posted the break evens before we went on air, and Turbo's was in the top 17. He's a break even of 94. So probably the last week for Turbo. I wouldn't hate a Turbo to drink you next week, to be honest.
I think that's probably going to be one of the most popular plays next week.
Especially if Turbo stinks again. Like we see all these like amazing matchups for Turbo on paper, and it's like he's yet to deliver. Oh, not yet to deliver. I think we need to lower our expectations on Turbo. Like, we're no longer talking about 2021 Turbo, where if he gets less than 130, we're like, oh, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's a different game.
It's a different game, but also like he's just changed. Turbo's only had one score of 100 this season, which is mental when you think about it, but still averaging.
Against Penrith.
Yeah, against Penrith, out of all people, but still averaging, oh goodness, is that 78?
Yeah.
People are talking about Turbo like he's from.
But he's been scoring like fucking 80 to 95 most weeks. Like the scores he's been racking up are fucking super steady.
If you want to come out and say he's not a permanent captain option, by all means, I'm sure Turbo owners would really appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I'm not touching him because I don't own him now. I don't want to set that voodoo up. We talked about Garrick, so we can probably move on from him. We can move on to the Friday 6 p.m. game. We've got the Panthers and the Bulldogs at Bluebet Stadium. This will be a tough trip for the Bulldogs, but it seems like they've been up for those tougher games this year. So I'm interested to watch this one. A lot of us were sweating on Cleary this week. He comes back in. He returns. Brad Schneider drops out. Isaac Tungor is suspended for his hip drop. He'll miss 1 week. So he's replaced by Paul Alamotti, who comes in and gets a cash rise. I'm sure not really many people would have held him or bought him. We also see Liam Henry come back onto the bench, which proves that last week was just a little niggle that they were managing, which is good. And then Eisenhuth drops out for Penrith. Bulldogs 1-17. Sorry, I've got a mistake in the notes here. Curran has been named to start, but there is every chance he probably might swap with Hughes on game day again, Josh. Like, it just seems like this is the thing that they do every week. He's gone to the school of BA and Sticky Ricky teamless fuck-arounds.
I really don't. Like, it's not like teams are sitting up at night planning for Sam Hughes. Like, no one sits there and like makes their game plan around, fuck, we have to stop Sam Hughes. So I don't really understand it, but whatever. Connor Tracy in the reserves. But the talking points are Cleary and Yam. So just to confirm, is Yam from now on, Yam is Talon and May is just Terrell?
Yeah, I think so. That's probably the easiest way.
Obviously,
how good's the fucking photo though? The reverse, the mirror photo with his tattoo backwards. That's all time.
He's the best. Did you see? Apparently on Sunday nights, Terrell played Warzone for like 8 hours on stream.
What a legend. How fucking good is that? Loves it.
But yeah, Cleary, we're obviously sweating on him. Halfback's pretty fucked this year, to be honest. Like, it's pretty grim. It's Nico Hines and the rest. And Nico is so far and away the best option. But then, it's still Cleary, but it's like there's so much uncertainty with Cleary. It's like his hamstring is obviously not good. His competition is not great. SJ's injured. DCE is going to play Origin. And then it's probably Sam Walker. I think we had a question 2 wrap-ups ago where someone was like, hey, I've got X amount of money for a halfback. Who we pick? And we're like, Sam Walker, I guess, because there's no one else.
And, you know, if he got on 2 weeks ago, he would have copped whatever million points that Sam Walker got a fortnight ago. So fuck, I hope he did. But I think if you don't... Okay, let me ask you this. If you don't have Nathan Cleary now, are you buying him?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, good. Okay, so like, I mean, this is a question that I reckon I've got 10 times today. People asking, do we buy Cleary? I've got SJ or I've got insert mediocre halfback coming into a tough draw. Do I buy Cleary now that he's back? And basically, you're buying him for a 3-week play because he's going to miss round 13. Last year, he injured his hammy with a 4-day turnaround after Origin 1. So there's every chance he's going to be rested in these backup games, especially because they're, it makes sense for them considering this happened last year.
And Brad Schneider is also not Jake Arthur either. Like, he's a very good halfback. So Cleary, these injuries are starting to rack up for Cleary. I'm not saying anything drastic, but like the injuries are starting to pile up. I feel like he doesn't get scrutinized enough. I feel like if anyone else got injured as much as he did, they'd be crucified. But yeah, he's had plenty of injury concerns and a lot of short day backups, and Penrith are fine. Penrith always rest their stars. So like, I wouldn't be buying Cleary at all. And I'm having to live with the idea that like, I might only get Cleary from like round 1 until round 20. I might get 10 games at a Cleary.
Yeah. I mean, and if you've got, we both have Cleary. We held Cleary through that 4-week layoff for his hammy as well. So, have you?
The fuck happened? The prick in his return game did nothing.
That hurts. Have you been tempted to move him on?
No.
Okay.
Because my commitment to Cleary is like a Soviet Union member in the 60s. My commitment is unwavered to the Soviet, but like it's starting to get a bit shaky. What's that Tom Skinner meme? It's starting to get a bit shaky. Like the only issue is there's no one knocking on the door. That's the only reason why I haven't considered it, is because SJ is broken. Cherry Evans is going to Origin. Jerome Hughes is also broken. Mitch Moses is also broken. And then it's like, Sammy Walker, come on down.
Could headbutt a knee. And that's that.
And all he does, and then the minute he gets a Gillette sponsorship, he shaves the beard and his powers are lost.
Yeah, that's true. That beard is strong. It's got some powers, that beard. I hope he keeps it. But yeah, I think Cleary's a hold for anybody who has him. If you don't have him, don't buy him. And that's pretty much the message, unfortunately. We talked about Yam. We can move on from him. Friday, 8 p.m, Eels, Broncos at Combank. Blaze Talangi, back from the dead. He's been named at fullback, luckily, thanks to BA. I sold him 2 weeks ago, so that fucks me. Sean Russell, he is in at centre. He replaces Morgan Harper. Sorry, the washing basket is his new nickname. So Sean Russell comes in for him. Cartwright on the bench. Brendan Hand's gone. So everyone very, very happy that owns Lussick as their hooker too. We won't have to worry about any competing interests there. And who the fuck is Josh Rogers? Is the theme of the podcast tonight. Josh Rogers, he comes in as halfback for Adam Reynolds, who's out for that bicep injury. Corey Oates and Hose, he is in for Jesse Arthurs, who broke his jaw. And then we've got Jack Kashevsky making his debut for the Broncos, just coming up from or coming down from the Cowboys, and he flicks Fletcher Baker. Bit going on here.
Matrix hasn't given us his bet for this week. Do we just default to Corey Oates anytime?
Corey Oates anytime, yeah. But it's not at Combat. It's not at Suncorp. That's true, usually the kicker.
But who the fuck is Josh Rogers? Can someone who's a Broncos fan tell me what's happened to Jock Madden? Has he died? Is Josh Rogers sexy? I'll pull up some photos of Josh Rogers while Braino talks about the players' interest.
So Blaze Talangi, I think, is one that we've got questions around. Do we buy him? How long is he going to be at fullback? I think the thing with Gutho is that Gutho's going to miss another probably 4 weeks as a minimum. I think it was initially 5 weeks we were looking at, but with Talangi at fullback, it's interesting prospect. I'm just not sure whether we jump on straight away. I probably want to see something from him at fullback before I jump on. Sacrifice a little bit of cash if you don't own him, but if you do and you're held, happy days. You're in a great spot to make a little bit of money for a month anyway.
I can confirm that Josh Rogers is not as attractive as Rose Walsh. So that answers Matthew's question. Yeah, very high. He looks like a skinny Fletcher Baker.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So on the hot vibes, definitely not there. But everyone in the chat is saying Madden is injured, so that makes a bit of sense. But wheels up to Reece Walsh.
Yeah, I think Madden was like a high rib injury, like a rib 1-2 rib injury or something like that, which is quite rare. So that'll be a week-to-week prospect for Madden, I would say. So yeah, definitely don't jump on Josh Rogers for sure. Joey Lussick was spoken about. Definitely a hold now, I think, with hands. What about Reece Walsh, though? Definitely gets the a little bit more kicking. We were talking about this at the start of the pod, but for anybody who doesn't have Walsh, are we buying, or is it just one of those things now where you've missed the boat and you've got Drinkwater now bottoming out?
I'd buy. It's 675. It's not like Adam Reynolds gets them forward. Like it's Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan's job to get them forward, and then yeah, you might lose a little bit of flair, but we saw Walsh step up when Reynolds wasn't there. And so for me, I'm pretty keen on Reece Walsh, probably as the number one fullback option if you're looking at replacing Pat.
Yep. I mean, I've got him. I bought him a couple of weeks ago, and I think most people did. But yeah, I like it. He's going to kick goals. They'll still score some points. It's fucking Parramatta Eels. I reckon the Broncos will put up points this weekend. So, and Walsh will be in the thick of nearly everything. And I think a lot of people, when we watch Reece Walsh, we get really frustrated watching him play because of the errors and just the brain explosions. But that's what you get with him. And I think we need to accept the fact that until he matures, until he's like that late 20s and loses that natural hot-headedness, you're just going to get explosive plays all over the place.
The one thing I love about him though is he'll throw 5 intercepts and then on the 6th play go, fuck it, I'm going to throw it again. Yeah. I reckon it'll come. And I love that. I'd never used to like him, but like this year I've got a newfound appreciation for Reece Walsh just because he doesn't give a fuck. Like I said, he'll make 5 errors and then try and do the exact same thing on the 6th play and it'll work. And then he'll just be like, he'll look like a genius. So love Reece.
Yeah. All right, Saturday, 3 p.m, Tigers and Knights at Scully Park in Tamworth, taking it to the country again. We usually play right in the country when we take our games away. But I'm not going to say him. I'm not going to say he who shall not be named is in for Caesar. Api Coruscant, he returns, which is going to be music to everybody's ears, and Simpkin on the bench. Stafford Toa also comes back from that ankle injury. Brent Naden to the wing. Ale Marlo out. And what I did notice that kind of slipped under the radar here was Papali'i has been named at lock and Bateman on an edge. Do you reckon this is a legitimate change or just a fuck up?
No, I think Benji's probably just trying to be like, fuck, we'll change it up. Like, it's great for Sammy Fano. Great that Sammy Fano's held his role here. I don't know. I'm pretty vocal on Papali and Bateman just not being at the club when their contracts expire, but
more than happy with that.
Bateman is not a lock. He's great for Supercoach because he just does the Tedesco crab walk and racks up junk tackle busts. But yeah, it's like whatever. Papali lock, whatever. Like, what does Matamua have to do to get a run? For the Knights, Tyson Frizzell and Saifiti both been named. Dylan Lucas back to the bench, and Armstrong holds onto the fullback spots. Talking points on this game, Armstrong. I think we've discussed him enough. Pretty clear buy, pretty great downgrade option. And Gregosaurus, like we said, 67 break even, 504K. So, I think it's a win-win. If he comes out and scores 90, you're paying 30K more, but, there's some form there. And if he's shit, then you can be like, cool, I'm happily to buy him as a centre wing for, what is it, 490K or something?
Yeah. If he drops a little bit of cash under 500K and we see something from him this week, I'm more than happy to jump on. And we do promise that we always bring these ones up. So regardless of the time of the pod, Gabe and Ben Verdini, thanks for the donation. Hey fellas, Jesse Bromwich, Francis Molo, front row, and Felice Kafusi, Victor Radley, Adam Elliott, back row. Whew, pods everywhere. Should I upgrade or are they okay to focus on backs?
Radley's okay. Let's quickly look at this. So Radley's fine, Elliott's fine. Like they're not great, but they're fine. Felice Kafusi, I couldn't even tell you how he's scoring because I just haven't looked at him at all. So probably him for like Angus.
Depends on how
but
much
maybe
cash you got in the bank.
Maybe you don't want to follow the crowd because looking at this team, you've got like a bunch of pods, or you're a massive Dolphins fan.
I would say that it's the latter. Yeah. I reckon you could probably upgrade Jesse Bromwich as well. A little bit past his time now from a Supercoach relevance, unfortunately. But
I think it's too late to buy Curran. Like Curran's got a nice dual, covers Origin. I don't want to give you like the mainstream players because it's clear that you like to go a bit poddish.
Tommy Hazelton, pay up for Tommy Hazelton and enjoy yourself there. But he's been awesome front row.
More cult heroes. But like you're not in the worst situation. But I'm definitely looking at trying fixing up Jesse Bromwich and Felice Kafusi. They're probably the two.
For sure. Dane Gagai, you mentioned him last week as a buy, and I like it. Kind of slid under my radar. I didn't really focus too much on him, but he's got the goal kicking. He'll have the goal kicking until Kalen Ponga comes back. We can naturally assume versing the Tigers this week. Which edge is he going to? He's going to be marked by Justin Olam, which isn't ideal this week. I actually haven't even checked his break even, but is there still interest?
I don't know. Like, people think Olam's like some defensive stud. Like, he puts on good hits, but he's not like, he's no Stephen Crichton. Yeah, I like Gagai. I don't think he plays Origin. Covers some nice buys, goal kicks, which is great.
The Knights and the Tigers have the two best schedules in terms of availability from now until round 20 as well. I think they only miss 2 games. So definitely an advantage there to get on either of those guys, I think. And the matchup's relatively nice. But they've got Gold Coast next week as well, the Knights. They've got the bye in round 12, which is where that awkwardness kicks in, but it's only them. And then they've got the Bulldogs in round 13. So the next 3 games for Gagai, I mean, he's got a 48 break even. He could easily pop off in all 3 of these and be at 750 to 800K.
Yeah, buying round 12 is absolutely fine. Yeah, you just don't want to be going too heavy on Knights. You don't want to be having like KPP, Gagai, Armstrong, and then, I don't know, someone else. That's where it gets dicey. But like, yeah, I love Gagai as a buy. Averaged like 70 odd last year with no goal kicking. And that was with like a night side flying. So, but that can probably regress a little bit. But yeah, I like him as a purchase. I still like him as a buy.
Yep. Let's move on. Saturday, 5:30, Dragons Rabbitohs at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium in Cogra. Sully is back from concussion that he just got knocked the fuck out. Tuipulotu, he's out for personal reasons, apparently. So Lomax is back to the wing. Leilua is still on the extended bench, so there's every chance he comes back into this team this week for the Dragons. And then let's talk the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell, he is back, obviously, in very timely fashion for Jai Gray. Dion Teopa, I hope I probably butchered that. He's in the halfback for Hawkins. Shibasaki's in the wing. Havili's at lock. Jacob Hoster's out, suspended, replaced by Matthew French. So, I mean, I had a look at the Rabbitohs lineup, and you know that GIF. It's like, brother, you know that's basically what I pictured in my head when I looked at that Rabbitohs lineup.
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck is Matthew French? So, like, but it's crazy because their forward pack is so terrible. But yet, where you and I are both looking at probably 2 of the most volatile players to pick up in Supercoach, one being Latrell Mitchell, the other one being Cody Walker. Now, Trell, people must think I don't know how I can be able to consider some kind of analysis.
Punishment.
Oh, yeah. But, like, I don't know. Maybe I need to revoke my, like, content creator expert card because, like, why the fuck am I looking at Latrell Mitchell again after he killed me last time? 707K with a break even of 74 against the Dragons and a pretty good draw. Like, we sold him in round 6. Our plans are to sell him in round 6 because he had a pretty gross stretch of fixtures. But then takes on the Dragons, the Cowboys, Parramatta, a bye in 13, which may be his saving grace to not enter my team. But the Titans, Broncos, Manly, another bye in round 17. Okay, I'm starting to like this because then I don't have to buy him. But the draw, like, it's really good until like round 25 where he plays round 26 where he plays Panthers and South, so Panthers and the Roosters, so you can sell then, but like does miss 2 of the 3 major buy rounds, which is not ideal, but does cover all the minis. Plays 16, doesn't cover 17 with the mini buy, so plays 2 of the 3 majors and 2 of the 3 minis,
which is fine. That's okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of every reason not to buy him because
just do it.
I'm going to be sitting here. Yeah, I'm going to be sitting here at 8:30 on Sunday being like, for fuck's sake, Latrell Mitchell got suspended again in his first game back and I paid 700K for it. It's
going to be one of those stories, where we said last week, Trey Fuller's probably going to be the point in the season where you look back and you either got him or you didn't get him. This could be the decision where you either got or didn't get Latrell Mitchell when he doesn't play Origin and he fucking goes ballistic.
I've had 2 Micah Sevo moments this year. Trell getting suspended and then Sevo getting dropped. It's like, do I really want to go back there? Because what's going to happen is, for my own mental health, people that don't like me too much on social media are going to rip me apart when he doesn't succeed. And I'm just like, for fuck's sake, I've just done it to myself. But
it's fine. It's fine.
Enough of Trell. Let's talk Cody Walker because one of us is looking at buying him and it's not me.
I just see a bottoming out Cody Walker with a big ceiling as enticing enough in a shit position. And I am full transparency with how I'm thinking about this move at the moment is the fact that I have Tamari Martin, who I cannot get out of my team quicker. I don't care who I have to go to. But I'm looking at Cody Walker purely because he's at 516K. He's basically 200K down on his starting price. We know every year he goes on a run at some point of the year. Now, do I think that it's going to be now that he goes on a run? I don't know. And I still might not do it because I'm a bit of a coward that way. And I've been burnt a couple of times so far by doing stupid moves like this. But you've mentioned the draw. I won't mention the draw again. I'm just looking at, I guess, what he's done in previous years. But the caveat to all of this is the fact that are they even going to get field position for Cody to be
that's
relevant?
my concern.
Because the one thing for me is Cody scores inside the opposition 20. That's where he does his magic. That's where he gets involved. We look at the 2 scores he got the last 2 weeks against the 2 best teams in the competition in Melbourne and Penrith, 66 and 51. But when you look deeper into those, he's got 4 try assists over those 2 games. He had 24 tackles against Penrith, though, which is way up. And then he also had 4 line break assists against Melbourne. So he had 56 points out of his 66 against Melbourne in attacking stats.
My concern with Cody is it was him and a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Now Trell's back. It's like, does he lose some touches?
AJ
Also,
in the...
Yeah. I guess that's a positive. I was looking at doing Gagai and Pappenhausen to Dom Young and Troll, and I'm $1,600 off, and I really don't want to sell Blaze Talungi named at fullback. So now I'm just sort of eyeing off what I can do. Yeah, maybe, or I don't know. Like, I feel like it's going to end in heartbreak for you and I, but
sure.
Fuck it. I managed to convince you to buy Trey Phillips. Maybe I just need to bite the bullet and do it myself. And Zach Lomax, probably a much more sensible Supercoach player this season. All his bad scores have been at center, and I think he's actually proven Shane Flanagan right in the fact that he's not a great center. I don't know if that's a hot take or a cold take, but like Zach Lomax is a great winger, not a great center.
Yeah, are we looking at? We're looking through Supercoach lenses, though. To be fair, when we talk about center versus wing for Lomax,
even the eye test, I don't know. It just feels like he's much more involved. Doesn't have to make as many defensive reads. Like, yeah, he'll jam on the wing, but like every winger jams. But like at center, does some weird shit, does some dumb stuff. I just much prefer him on the wing.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think he's definitely better on the wing, but from a tactical perspective, it's hard for us to go and judge on whether he's better as a footballer. But yeah, 750K, 118 break even this week though. So it's kind of like we're starting to see that peak now of the what was he 800 plus, and now he's coming back down. So I don't know whether you want to buy him now, but I mean we're looking at the draw for the Dragons. They've got the South Centre Bulldogs into Penrith. But then they've got the Tigers, Manly, Dolphins through the middle of the year. They play 13, 14. He misses 16, but he also plays 19. But the problem is he misses... he's got round 11 bye as well. So that's not...
I want Zach Lomax in round 23. Bulldogs, Titans, Sharks, Para, Raiders. Does play the Roosters, Broncos, bye, Panthers, Melbourne. Fuck, that's a grim 5-week stretch, isn't it? So I'd be looking at him at the back end of the season. If I don't have him now, then I wouldn't be jumping on until then. Yep, fair call. Saturday, 7:30. This could be the longest fucking preview that we've ever done, just because we didn't actually talk when we hopped on. Well, it was like bang straight into the live because it was time. So usually we chat about all this shit. 7:30, Storm Sharks at Amy Park, one of the very few amount of dry games that we've got this weekend. Jerome Hughes is out. Tyron Wishart, comes in at the 6 jersey. Munster shifts to halfback. Suafai Logo at fullback replaces Pappenhausen. Grant Anderson, remember him? Yes.
2023 cheapie Grant Anderson. He's in. He was a Gagai of last year, wasn't he? He fucking teased us with 2 games and then disappeared and didn't make any cash. And then Tui Kamakamika, he's in the extended bench as well. So there's a chance he might return from his hammy. Royce Hunt in for Toby Rudolph is the only change for the Sharks. So they're 1-17 and playing some good footy at the moment. Suafai Logo, we talked about him at the start of the pod. If you missed it, go back, have a look. We basically said don't go early for a few different reasons. But Ronnie Mulatalo, has his time ended in Supercoach's teams?
Quickly, team list change. Munster at 6, Wishart at 7. They changed that on your last minute. Yeah, I think with no Trindle. Yeah, I think it is. Like the base is really nice, but the attacking stats are just not there for him. Like he's struggling a little bit to find that ball on the attack, and Kale Ero's a little bit of a glue hand, which is great for us owners, but Multalo, he went from being like a borderline top 2, top 3 center wing, but now that there's no Trindle, to probably just looking at jumping off and picking him back up once Trindle is, or if he comes back. I'd probably try and move him on, but we'll try and get through it these games quickly.
Isn't it funny? We thought that when we're talking about a player not being relevant anymore because Braden Trindle isn't playing. I thought it'd be the other way around. Wild.
Yeah, it's that effect. It's like Multalo's great, but Hines sucks. So I mean, I much prefer having Hines. Sunday 2:30. No, sorry. Yeah, Sunday 2:00. Roosters versus Warriors at Allianz. Daniel Tupu, JWH for his 300th game. Victor Radley and Spencer Leniu all return with Ponga. The commentary say Ponga.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just going to say Junior. Cecilia Tupanua, Egan Butcher, and CSR Wong all make way for those guys. Kirk Catewell with his calf is out. Barnett to an edge. Bunty Foa at prop. Shout out to Anton. I know he's listening. And Jazz Tavanga on the bench as well. Warriors suck.
They've lost 4 in a row. It doesn't look like it's getting any better either, to be fair. And Ian Johnson, thanks for letting us know Casey Badger is refereeing this game. So you can probably turn this one off. But I guess the talking points in this one are Dom Young, because we talked about him a fair bit at the start. Great buy. Probably, would you call him the top of the buy list this week, Josh?
No.
I mean,
he's probably the most
David Armstrong.
Oh, he's probably got the most value. It's just how much of a glutton for punishment are you, because he is a little bit up and down. But I think just in terms of like buying a bottomed out player, he is the best of the bunch at the moment. So I guess we'll go with him there. Yes, and he hasn't been affected by Joey Manu, which is really handy.
Yeah, I thought that we'd probably see a little bit more of that. With Manu being such a ball dominant centre, he's got glue hands like good old Herbie Farnworth. But Manu will play fullback in round 13, which I think was the big appeal for everybody getting him to start with. But again, they've got the buy in round 14, so just prepare for that. What about? I've put him in the notes here as Big Yam, but we've decided we're just going to call him May.
I did say
because we call the other one Yam.
I did say Big Yam. Yeah, on the Roosters, just be careful because a lot of us will have KPP, a lot of us will have Armstrong, and then a lot of us will have a few Roosters assets as well. So 14 could bend you over. So just keep an eye out with your planning there. But yeah, Big Yam. All right, I can tell at about 4:00 on Sunday, Supercoach social media is going to be a fucking very toxic place.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be horrendous.
The Roosters bench in this one does not look favourable at all for Big Yam. And I predict we're going to see another sub 30.
Oh, 1,000%. But like, can you really live with yourself to play Sam Hughes over him?
No, I don't think so.
That's the thing. It's like the smart players to like bench him. But like, I don't know if I could genuinely live with myself if I just put Yam on the bench and he scored 2 tries again and went for 120.
And you made a good point on Sunday. Like, it seems like with this rotation, there is no structure. There is no, we know he's going to come on for X amount of time. We know that this person's going to come back on as well. Like, it's just, is he good? Is he good today? Oh, he's good today. Cool. Have as many minutes as you like, kid. Like, he'll play 50 straight. He'll come on at 30-minute mark and he'll just play the rest of the game. Or he'll come on at the 30-minute mark, go off at 45 and you won't see him again. He'll play 15 minutes. Yeah. So
I think one saving grace is Spencer Leniu's played no football for 2 months.
Yeah.
So the tank might be a little bit empty for him. JWH, I can never pick his minutes. He sometimes plays 25, sometimes plays 50. It's just like, what's going on? Collins, we know what we're going to get from him.
Yeah.
What we need is a weird fucking rotation between Radley, Watson, and Smith. That's what we need.
Yes, I think so. Fisher makes a good point in the chat. He promised himself to play the Mays in May, and so far it's been good. It is their month. So,
are you also a English Super League fantasy player, Fisher? Because obviously have to captain Tyrone as well.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. They all scored a try as well.
Yeah, Rando Stats Guy put up a thing. Apparently, all 3 of them were paying 250 to 1.
Yeah,
for any time try scores on the weekend.
Good on him. I reckon you'd be hard pressed as well in this game to see more acronym names. JWH, DWZ, CNK, RTS. There's a lot of them in this game. And let's speak about this.
Plenty. So we've got CNK, DWZ, RTS, TMM, AFB, and that's about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
JWH, yeah.
What are you doing with DWZ? Because you're an owner, right? Are you moving him on?
I don't know. Like, I don't have to sell him. Like, I've got 360k in the bank where I don't have to sell, but I'm like staring down this monstrous break even of like 116. I bought him for 700. He's like 600k with a shit draw. All things point to me being a sell, but like, I don't know. I've burned a million trades already. Can I just hold him? Because we know when the Warriors come good, like he'll be good.
And well, everyone's locking and loading with like probably 5 primos at centre wing, or 4, and probably Kaylee Rowe you can count as a primo. He scores like one. So you can just rotate him and play him on matchup at the back end of the season and just kind of cop the ups and downs you're going to have from him moving forward.
Yeah, I think I have the capabilities to bench him this week if I decide to play like actually, yeah, I could bench him this week.
No temptation to go DWZ to Sevo. Shorty is suggesting. Yeah.
So
no,
what?
Just
so buy Sevo and Latrell this week.
Fuck. And keep DWZ as well. Yeah, no, don't do that.
I can actually afford that. I can actually afford Gagai to Sevo and Pappenhausen to Terrell.
Yuck. Yeah, that's a sign.
As people laugh at the Sevo play, he averaged like 68 before he got dropped.
Yeah, he did. He did before he got suspended. So anyway,
that's the fascinating thing about that is like you'd rather your pod just suck. I'd rather him come out and average 30 and not get dropped and be like, okay, it didn't work. But he was good for Supercoach and then got dropped.
Got suspended. Yeah, fucking stinker. Dom Young was bad and a stinker. So yeah, you got me one up on that. But
minus 15, yes.
Yep. Sunday 4 p.m. Titans Cowboys at Cbus. Probably a couple of popular captain's options in this one. Tanner Boyd out with a dislocated wrist. Randall 5'8". Verrill starts. Mo Fodawaker's back as well. Keo Keeney in the 14. I genuinely see that Keeney to full back, Randall to 9, Verrills to bench, and then Brimson to 6.
I can't wait for these round 12 duel updates. I'm really sweating on. I hope certain big footy content creators go on the same agenda push for Chris Randall, halfback 5'8" duel is what they did for Josh Curran. So
I want to see Damien Cook fullback duel because didn't he play fullback last week or week before? Got to happen. Chad Townsend, he's back. He replaces the big red dog Clifford, but otherwise they're 1-17. Helam Lukey, he stays on the bench, but it's only a matter of time, I think, before Lukey probably starts. They'll just ramp him up for a little bit, but I'm hoping he drops a fuckload of cash and we can jump on Helam Lukey at sub 400k again and ride on into the sunset. So fingers crossed. But what are we doing? What are we doing with the Brim job? There's a lot of interest on the good old AJ Brimson.
Should have backed your gut and bought him 2 weeks ago, like you said you were going to.
But I don't do that.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I'm not too keen.
What about David Fafita then? Because I reckon this is probably one of the ones I've got the most questions about.
I said I wasn't buying him at 550. So how can I buy him at 900?
You're allowed to flip your opinion, and I know you have.
Oh mate, that was disastrous. He's been so good, and now he's going to go to the Panthers, and we just have to start with Cleary and Fafita next year, don't we? I don't care what it costs.
That's got to be a fucking veto, like a league veto, if ever I've seen one. Like, let's just go. Let's let the most destructive back rower in the game go to the probably 4-time back-to-back fucking
destructive back rower. Fuck, if you read Twitter, people act like he is shit. I genuinely, it's so funny. People are like, oh, Fafita's terrible. It's like, fuck off. Like, honestly, just fuck off.
Good timing from Daniel Vickery in the chat. What about Tommy Dearden? Now, I actually, for the first time, really looked at him because I was looking at Cody Walker, and I'm like, you know what? Because I'm looking at Cody Walker, I'll just shift through all of these shit kicker 5'8s. And Dearden actually ended up being probably the best of the lot around the price point, 606k. He's got a 38 break even. Obviously, he had that monster score in his rolling average there for a little bit, but I mean, he's had one score under 50 all year. And funnily enough, it was 23 against the Titans, who he plays this week.
You talk about shit kicker 5'8s. Have you not looked at Jerome Luai at 438k?
I'm never buying Jerome Luai in Supercoach.
Mate, 2 years ago, I remember, I think it was the COVID year. For the first 8 rounds, he averaged about 70, and I jumped on, and then I think he proceeded to average about 36 the rest of the season.
Always the way. He's Tamari Martin,
So Luai's had 2 scores above 50 all year. Nice.
Yeah, good.
Love
Let's
that.
wipe that one.
Okay. So yeah, for me, didn't know. Like, I'm pretty staunch on just playing out of position players like Max Plath at 5'8", just with how shit it is. And then we're getting more questions about Brimson's like, but we probably should give a stance. I'm not keen on Brimson. I just think there's too much reshuffling with this Titans tide. We don't know what his role is going to be definitively. Started the season playing center, named at 6, named at 1. Yep. If you think Chris Randall's the long-term 6 for this club, then by all means jump on Brimson, but Braino and I don't. And who knows what the hell happens now. So
Jaden Campbell's so close as well. Like,
yeah, I'm just letting him
if
go.
anything, he goes to fullback, Brimson goes to 6, Boyd's out for an extended 8 to 10 weeks, I think it was. So, I don't think, if you're buying him to play fullback, I don't think he's going to play fullback. But if you like him at 5'8", sure, that's fine. Maybe it's the right time to get on.
Also, people are like talking up the Titans that they're some like powerhouse. I don't see it. They lost to the Storm last week narrowly, and people will be like, "Oh, it was a close game." Storm had no one. The Warriors suck. All right, they beat the Warriors at Go Media. All right, well, I'll give you that. But the Warriors suck. They lost to Manly in the Gold Coast, and Manly have been fine. They have been fine. Lost to the Raiders by a point. The Raiders are also fine, and then we're dog shit before that. Like, we'll talk about the Titans when it comes to betting this week, and people think they're morals this week at $2.24, but
it's interesting.
I don't rate the Titans, and Cowboys bounce.
Hear me out. Hear me out on Brimson on Dearden. Now the Cowboys draw, right, and people are looking at Fowler and Drinky.
You're talking to a brick wall.
All right, I'll talk to everyone else. All right, guys, hear me out on Dearden, and more so hear me out on the Cowboys draw. They've got the Titans this week at Seabus. They've got Souths, who are fucking may as well play Reggies. You've got the Tigers then. Then they've got the Roosters in round 13 without Tedesco and without their origin players. Then they've got the Warriors, who seem to be struggling, and they're at home. We know that the Warriors are definitely not as good away from New Zealand. Then they've got the Canberra Raiders in round 15. If that isn't probably maybe the second best draw over 6 rounds coming up, I don't know how. I don't know how to sell it to you.
The draw's really good, but he's 600k. Like, that's the only thing for me. If he was like 520, I'd be much more on board. But he's just so up and down. Like, even against the Titans, he scored a 23 against the Titans when they won 34.
Yeah, but then look at the rest of the season. 65, 66, 70, 51, 63, 74, 60, 87. One score below 51 all year.
Yeah, but no scores above 90.
Yeah, that's fine.
Only one score above. So one score above 80, 2 scores above 70 and above, and the rest 60s, and you're paying 606k for him. When he's going to lose Val for a bit, he'll lose Cotter, and maybe lose Robson as well.
He does score tries, so that is the one negative for him. A ton of fucking line breaks and shit like that too for Dearden. So that propped his scores up. So the ceiling isn't there. But you probably.
Also, when does the Chad come back?
Oh, yeah.
This week? He's back this week.
He is back this week. Yeah. I mean, he played with the Chad for the whole season and scored okay. But anyway, I'd probably just go cheap with Plath.
I don't think he's terrible. I just want him 70k cheaper. That's just me. I think because we were talking about him at the start of the season as probably like the best 5'8" outside of dual bags, and he's been fine. He's made you 14k in the season, but like he's sort of priced at what he does, and the draw is really nice, yes. But I just worry that like
I'm just going to go spicy with Cody.
Oh, I'd prefer that. That's much more fun to laugh at you because like if you buy Dearden and he gets 30, I'm just like, oh, whatever. But if you buy Cody and he gets 20. Fuck, that's so much fun to you. That's so much better for you to laugh at you than to buy Dearden. Because Dearden's actually sensible.
I'm all for it. I'm all for providing a bit of laughter, you know. But fuck, we've dragged this one out. Let's talk about captains. I've got to find this stinger. There it is.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I wasn't prepared for captains because I read your tweet said we weren't going to talk about them today, so I wasn't too prepared for captains.
No. I mean, look, it's pretty simple. VC Loop, Turbo Garrick in the first game seems like the logical option. If you want to get spicy, you can, and you've got Trey Fuller in your team, just chuck a fucking blue armband on Trey Fuller because Manly concede the most Supercoach points to fullbacks in the competition. That's, I think, why everybody bought Fuller, isn't it?
Sure. If that's what if that's the copium that you give yourself to help you sleep, then go for
What
it.
I need. That is the copium.
Let's talk Nico. Obviously, is he still good enough this week to put some kind of captaincy on?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I've completely reversed my stance on him not being a permanent captain.
No, I just meant against Melbourne in Melbourne.
But they're also missing Pappy and Jerome Hughes. So I feel a little bit better about that.
Does that really affect their defensive structure too much? It's like when Cleary's out for Penrith. It's like...
But Suafalogo at the back, like, is he really going to be the voice that they need from the back of the field rather than Pappenhausen? Like, this kid...
True.
So,
I feel much more confident putting the VC on him this week than I would captaincy, but then the question becomes, like, who do you captain after him? And then you're looking at, like, if I do buy Drinky this week, I will probably captain Drinkwater.
Yeah, I think so. Even Val seems kind of safe, I think, this week in that last game. But yeah, it's Nico or it's Drinky, I think, this week if you've got either.
Do we default to a forward captain this week with like someone like Gus against the Warriors?
I mean, I don't mind it. 2 p.m. Allianz. It's going to be fucking raining. That's probably a good thing for Gus, considering he peeled off 150 last week and the pissing down wet. So, look, if you want something safe, great. Like, we know that the rain affects outside backs.
A feeder in the wet could be fucking unreal.
Oh, yeah, that could be nice. It's kind of boring now, isn't it? Like, we're coming into that part of the season where we've got enough data now to just go,
this is the like Nico being as good as he is just so boring because it's like, well, he takes up one of the slots, and then what do we do with the next one? Obviously, Reece Walsh against Parramatta Eels could be handy. We talk about Blaze Talangi being a new fullback, being out of position. Reece could definitely be on. What's the weather like in Sydney on Friday night?
Let me quickly go back and have a look. I fucking should know this, shouldn't I? Up to 30 mil in Penrith and about the same in Combank, so both wet.
Grim.
Yeah,
this is not fun. Captaincy's kind of tough this week. I'm definitely leaning towards Turbo. Like, if you have Turbo, world's easiest VC this week.
Yep.
Can't touch Cleary for the time being while Nico's in the form that he's in. Obviously, Reece Walsh. I wouldn't be looking at anyone from this Knights Tigers game. There's just no one promising enough. Hey, is there a world where you VC Cody if you buy him this week?
Nah. I mean, I'm fine to be a laughing stock, but I don't want to be driven out of the community altogether. Like that. That's a concern for me. I think that the smart play is your VC on your Thursday night in the dry game in Brisbane. For the most part, it's Turbo. Garrick scored 169 against the Dolphins, the only time he's ever played them. So if you've got a Garrick, that could be a play.
Very fun memories because I hit a deadlift PR that night. And it was the same. It was the deadlift PR, but it was the same night that I VC'd Garrick last year. So great night. I'll tell you what, great night. Storm Sharks. Obviously, we're just favoring Nico in this matchup here. And then the Roosters and the Warriors. I don't think SJ he's just not on Nico's level to warrant a captaincy. So it's Angus, it's Tedesco, it's Dom Young. Yeah, as a VC, not as a captain. Fucking hell, that's
it's going to be wet though. Like, are they going to shift the ball and get the ball to Dom Young as much as you'd like as a captain?
Well, the last time Dom Young played in the rain, it went really well, didn't it? Well, he scored like a minus 15 or something like that.
I do remember fondly. Thanks for continually bringing that up as well. Appreciate that.
There's actually a fair few captaincy options in this Titans game. I mean, if Brimson does stay at fullback, he's definitely worth a shout. You've got Val Holmes, you've got Drinky, you've got Fafita. There's plenty of options.
Yep. So that'll wrap that up with a tight little bow.
Hang on.
All right, go on.
Dean Stafford.
50 against the Storm. Okay.
Wow.
So for our audio listeners, sorry, I muffled that. No halfback has scored more than 50 points against the Storm. That is a very interesting stat that's about to be broken this weekend. So that'll be fun when Nico goes and scores 173.
52?
Yeah, 52.
Any love for Zaki Lomax against the Bunnies?
I mean, how can you not?
Against their make of misfits.
Yeah. I like that. That's a nice play. Do they play early? Where do they play?
They play 5:30 on Saturday, so middle of the pack.
Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, I guess you could look at your structure as well when you're looking at VC loops and making sure that you've at least got a Raiders player that's on the bye that you can shuffle out, but also the player that you're replacing needs to be not have played.
Yeah, that's funny. Like people talk about their VCing, but just make sure the person that you're dropping and the person you're bringing in is available.
Yeah. Yeah, because you'll get stuck if you're trying to VC a guy on like the last game on a Saturday and then the 2 games on Sunday. You don't have any of your players on field. That's why it's so important, I think, as well to, be really wary of like the order of your players in your team as well. So yeah, probably worth mentioning. But I might just keep it vanilla this week and probably just go with Nico as a captain. And I don't even know what I'm going to do. Garrick as a VC. That's probably the way I'm going to go this week.
Yeah, I haven't even worked out my trades yet, so I can't even work out what I'm going to do with captaincy. But it'll definitely be on Nico somewhere. But then working out what we do earlier in the week, probably someone like a Reece Walsh. But we'll cross base. If you want to work out what we did when it comes to buying Cody or Trell or whatnot, make sure you join the Discord and make sure you become a Insight Unlimited member. We will definitely be keeping the trades updated there. We keep everything forward there, but not only Braino and I, there's also experts for every sport that we cover, which is being pretty much everything. And we're expanding next year. So we're looking at picking up a few European sports and a few American sports adding to the roster as well. So no time like now to join the Discord, totally free. But if you do want that limited access, a few of the Insight Unlimited boys are here, and I'm sure they will attest that's good money spent. Good money spent.
Yeah, we have fun, don't we? Let's speaking of good money spent, we haven't spent any good money in the Punters Club, but let's put our bets up.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Now, Matrix was way too deep in whatever kind of beer he was drinking to give us a bet. So he's given us nothing. So, maybe we should just automatically put Corey Oates anytime try scorer for him.
I think so. I'll add that one as we speak, and I'll give you some odds. But yeah, let us know what yours and mine bet is, and then I'll add Corey Oates anytime.
I am taking the Sharks to win $2.13. So they're outsiders to win against the Storm in Melbourne. And it kind of sounds crazy, but I do like just the lack of kind of experience at the back in Farlongo. I think that might affect their defense. And Sharks have been playing some pretty good footy. Storm without Jerome Hughes is a big loss as well. I think Tyron Wishart definitely won't be doing the same kind of things as Jerome Hughes. So I like the Sharks. And you're on the Cowboys -3.5 line at $1.90.
It's coming to -2.5, so maybe people know something that I don't. But I'm going to take it -2.5, so we're getting even shorter. As I've alluded to, I'm a Titans hater this week, and on the Cows -2.5 at $1.90, and then if we do add the tokenistic Corey Oates anytime, he's $2.15. So if we boost that one, we're going to get $9.79 for our money, which would take us to pretty much break even. So let's pray that we get that one up. So it's Sharks head to head, Cows -2.5, Corey Oates anytime for about $9.80.
How good. Let's and also who was I looking at for fucking anytime try scorer? Scott Drinkwater's $2.25 for an anytime try scorer against the Titans. Tell me that's not fucking amazing odds. Like it's not. I'm not putting it in the bet, but fucking hell, like I'll be getting on that as a single this week if anybody's keen to join me. And there is a Punters Club in the Discord as well if you want to go in there and chuck your bets in.
Much better punters than us in there.
Way better.
I'm going to follow.
All right, let's answer some questions.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
We do love a chat, so we'll try and get through this pretty quickly. Jamie Camilleri kicked things off. Trading in Val Holmes this week. Is he a good buy with the Titans, Souths, and Tigers in the next 3 weeks? Obviously, before he'll go away for Origin, Josh.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of guy that will back up. So not the end of the world. So you're just missing 13, 16, 19 or whatever rounds they play. I haven't looked. But he's definitely a guy that you do want to have in your center wing. And he is, I think, pretty much close to not bottoming out, but you're definitely getting him at a discount. He's 728K with a break even of something. Because I hate this user face interface. Break even of 87, which you could definitely hit this week against the Titans. So probably slightly paying slight overs, but he's a keeper that you want in your team. So I like him as a buy.
Jamie, also, we can't really answer this one now because it's a pretty deep question. But what for round 13 major buy round? What players are must trade ins? We'll probably do a separate episode on kind of buy planning.
Yeah, I mean, just very, 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 very briefly, Dylan Brown is looking like a prime target. Josh Curran, Kai Pearce-Paul. These are guys off the top of my head, but then you got to be careful about round 14. So this is the thing. Rounds 13, 16, 19, we only have to have 13 players available, but rounds 14, 17, and 20, you've got to have a full squad of 17. And in rounds 14, you got the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the what are they called? Roosters on the bye. So Jermaine Osakos, your Max Plaths of the world, your Bostocks, if you decide to hell, if you do go early on, not early, but if you do pick up KO Weeks and you've still got Strange or Schiller, your Holden Smithies, you've still got Levi, and then you've got Dom Young, Manu, Angus Crichton, Big Yam. Like, you could be in a world where you've got 10 to 11 players out in rounds 14. So definitely keep an eye out on that. Try and look at offloading some of the guys you don't think are keepers, and probably don't try and load up on those teams.
Yep, for sure. We also called Smithies a hold for that reason because he'll cover 13 and 16. So definitely someone you're probably looking at holding as well. Shorty, VC Azarko, C on Gus Crichton. Do we ride the roller coaster in SJ? So if you're a Sean Johnson owner, is the Achilles and last week's score bothering you enough to move him to a Sam Walker? Because you're probably not moving him to Cleary like we mentioned earlier.
No, I'm not buying Sam Walker unless I have to. And until SJ keeps getting named, it's just like I'll hold it. I'll hold off.
Fair. Jack is asking Bostock to Dom Young and Fermor to Fafita. Is that a good trade? What are your thoughts here? Bostock, definitely get him out. I like that to Dom Young. Bo Fermor, you're probably the final owner, Jack. Congratulations. But him to David Fafita, I can't argue with bringing David Fafita in ever. So
no, of course not. Great trades, and the beauty of selling a cash cow at their high and buying a somewhat gun at their low.
I must say, maybe Jack isn't the last owner. The Inside Community team at the moment still has Bo Fermor from round one. So we've had other fires, apparently. Mark wants to know, is it worth boosting to go Appy Coruscant to Connor Watson this week? No. And I would say big fat no, considering Watson's on the bench and Radley's back. We'll see less minutes.
Yep.
Jay, can only have one for Fafita or Cleary? I think the answer's Fafita, really, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, not close.
We're looking at Dom Young, Drinkwater, or Brimo for Caden Bull.
Drinky, Young, Brimo in that order.
Yeah, definitely Brimo's 3.
If you're talking about point scoring, it's Drinky, Brimo, Young. If you're talking about value, it's Young first and then probably Brimo. But like overall, I think if you're factoring points and money and whatnot, Drinky, Young, Brimo in that order.
Yep. All right. Jonty Elmer, trade in one of Azarko and Drinkwater with the other next week. Who are you going first?
Azarko.
I think it's got to be Azarko, doesn't it? Yeah, looking at the break even, it's negative 30 or 28 or something like that for Azarko.
Drinkies still like 90 odd.
Yeah, 93. So yeah, heaps of time. That's actually the perfect little structure there. Go early on Azarko, get the cash, and then hopefully you've got someone, even if you have to, like you mentioned, hold Pappy and go Pappy to Drinky next week.
Jonty, if they both score 100, Azarko makes 110k and Drinkwater makes 2. So.
Good summary. Munda Difflin, is Azarko still a buy with Herbie back in the team? They're on different sides now. So, or for the short term anyway.
That's not for certain, but like everything points to them being on different sides. So yeah, I'd still be buying Azarko. And hey,
hop in the Discord if you haven't, and we'll confirm.
If Azarko does play outside of Herbie, it's not the end of the world. He's still got a minus 27 break even. He scored okay with Herbie. It's not like hundreds, but it's fine.
Agent Cheese wants to, where he says we should do pub golf live at Magic Round. And do you want to disappoint everybody? Or should I?
Yeah, I'm not attending Magic Round this year. I've got some commitments that have come up that unfortunately I cannot be there this year. But a pub day at Magic Round sounds absolutely horrendous. Next year we might do it inside. Like, I don't expect we're gonna have a flock of fans. We might do like a pub lunch or something on the Friday Magic Round next year. We'll definitely get in the works and organize it more next year. But yeah, we'll try and get you guys involved. But yes, disappointing everyone by I'm not being a Magic Round.
Yeah, that's all right. Matrix and I will be there. I think Aman's floating around as well. So
Matrix will be there for like fucking half. But anyway,
I know. It's all right. It's going to be me and Aman just smashing beers. So that's fine. Next question, Dean Stafford. Trade DWZ. If so, is Dom Young too sideways? Absolutely not. I like that trade. That kind of is quite nice. It summarizes everything we've said in the podcast in about 5 seconds. Lomax or Cleary this week? I guess the answer is Lomax, considering we're not keen on Cleary. Stay true, be you. Hope all is well with you and your family. Thanks, mate. You too. Thoughts on Tedesco as a pod? Also, do you prefer Lomax or Fafita as captain this week?
Tedesco is the lowest price I've ever fucking seen in about 7 years.
Why?
I don't hate it, but it's like
misses 13 and 14 though, back to back.
Misses 14. Oh, he doesn't even play 14 if he does back up, which is kind of gross. But like, if you're a head-to-head player, Tedesco got 630k. I don't hate
Jump
that at
on.
all.
Yeah, definitely head to head. It's hard because we're in such an overall mindset. So we don't think head to head. We're talking tactically about increasing your rank. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments if you are a head to head player, because we'll be able to give you probably better advice. Mr. Ryan Hammond, who we'll give a shout out to in a second. Taylor May, is he a hold for week 55 because he features on the hold list every single week? Yes, he is, Hamo.
Yeah.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
Don't move him this week. We've answered Jake's question around Cleary, so we won't double up. Is Matrix a sell since he never turns up?
Yes.
I think so. He's definitely topped out in price. Break even's massive. So usually the break even's given by like how many beers he has as well. So he's going to have a very high break even when he comes back next week.
Very bad 3-round average for Matrix.
Yes. To Murray Martin, to Dylan Brown, or to Max Plath? Who's your pick?
How much is Brown? Because he's starting to
He's
get
like mid 600s, 650 or so.
Oh, okay. He's still 646. It's not amazing. He's got a break even of 74. I mean,
oh yeah, you can wait.
I'd still go Plath. I think you want Brown, but I'd still go Plath.
Like it.
The only problem that I'm gonna run is like relying on Dylan Brown so heavily when he's got no spine partners. I mean, there's no Moses, no Gutho. It's a bit grim, but yeah, I'd go Plath.
I would definitely rather wait if I could for Gutho.
Yeah, get an assessment on Brown. Get an assessment on Brown.
And the last time I traded a player out, then traded them back into my team was Kalen Ponga, and we know how that worked out. So I don't know. I don't want to kill Dylan Brown either. That could be bad. Last quick one from Hamo is Lenu a buy now that he's back in the team?
Go away. I'm not answering this. I don't know if this is the piss. I don't know if this is the piss take, but like I hate that bloke.
I actually don't think it's a piss take. I know how Hamo thinks with his trades. I reckon he's probably even looking at a cheap front row forward downgrade option.
38 break even. Played one game in Vegas where I lost my voice screaming at TV. There you go. I think he scored like 31 in 42 minutes. No, thank you. No, not for me. I want more of a sample.
That's fair. And we should, of course, before we wrap things up, give Hamo a big shout out, big sponsor of the show, Ryan from Astute Newstead. For those of you that are kind of stuck in the home loan game but have a monster interest rate, we know that times have been tough lately, and if your interest rate is above 6.2%, maybe you want to buy a home, or maybe you just want to renovate, refinance, or save some money, then Ryan can definitely help you out, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So he can give you an obligation and cost-free inquiry. He'll just talk to you about your situation and work out whether he can help you or not, how he can help you save some money, get that interest rate down. His link tree is in the description below. Hit him up. Good bloke. Has helped me out twice now with purchasing my home and selling mine. So I can definitely speak from experience, and Matrix can too, because the room that Matrix podcasts out of, that was from a refinance thanks to Hamo. So
yeah, it was an extension I think you put on, wasn't it?
Yep. So Hamo's your man. Now, very quickly, trade thoughts, and we'll wrap this one up.
Oh, there's no stinger. I was waiting for the stinger.
No stinger.
I don't know. Like, how much is Drinky? He's quite a bit, isn't he?
750.
Yeah, so I'd have to sell Pap to get Drinky, and I probably just don't want to do that. I mean, I'm definitely looking at Dom Young, and I could do it for Gagai. That might be my only trade, to be honest.
I like it. You've shown some pretty good restraint the last month.
Had to after boosting 5 consecutive weeks. I mean, that means I'm still holding Pappenhausen. I've still got Sean Lane. I've still got Joey Lussick, but like it's not the end of the world. I could just do do I even have enough I think I've got enough for Gagai to Dom Young, but that's probably the only move. And then I'm sort of looking to reassess fullback when something pops up. I might have to do a downgrade and then upgrade Pappenhausen, but that's probably I've got enough bench cover. I've got guys like Sean Lane and Nathan Cleary and then Dom Young, who I would have free to play. So probably just looking at that. What about yourself?
I am thinking I've still got Jamin Salmon that I've been kind of sitting on, just waiting to downgrade from the multitude of centre wing options. So I'm bringing in Armstrong this week. I didn't bring him in early. So Armstrong will come in for Salmon. And then, look, I'm probably just going to get a bit silly with it and just go to Murray Martin, to Cody Walker, and just, see what happens. I don't think it really can get much worse.
No, that's the thing. It's like you're trading out floor for floor, but like it's much better ceiling.
And also the potential for Rabbits to come good. eventually. Like I know it's a tough ask, but we're still talking about Latrell Mitchell. Like the guy's a quality player. That spine and that left edge in Trell, Whiten, Cody, and AJ. If they're humming, it's probably one of the best left edges in the comp. So, yeah, I'm just going to hope he comes good. But anyway, could backfire, could blow up in my face. But the good thing is, it's only 5'8". There's not many people doing much better than him, really. But guys, that'll do us. That'll wrap us up. Thanks for watching. Join the free Discord if you haven't done that yet. Or if you do want to become an Insight Unlimited member, hop in our DMs and we'll give you a little bit extra.
Also, where much more questions get answered. We can only start probably 20 or so per episode, otherwise we're here until midnight. But 100%. All three of us are in there answering questions. But we have no idea, as you can see by our ranks. But we have guys, as you heard, there's someone ranked 3rd, someone ranked 8th, someone ranked 10th. Like we've got a really good community worth of people. Whether it be the paid service or the free service, there's guys in there that will talk Supercoach all day long. So whether you don't want to pay the $25 or you want to jump in for free, there's someone that will be there to answer your questions, and there's channels for everything you can think of. For sure. And if you don't really care about asking us questions because you don't think that we're very good, but you like to support the podcast and help us become better and kind of, improve the podcast as it goes, and you can become a member too. So, but otherwise, thanks guys for watching us. We'll be back on Sunday for the wrap up, where Matrix will be back to talk to us about how many beers he had. I wonder if he did crack the 100 beers over that 5 days, because I think that was the over under. Yeah. I wonder. Interesting. But thanks guys. Thanks for watching from me and Josh Josh's washing basket in the background. We'll see you on Sunday. Hey, it's Morgan Harper. Sorry, I've got him over for dinner. Catch you later, guys. Cheers.